Wake up and see the world as it truly is. See what you are. One of billions running around this place with a heart that beats and a handful of potential. You're owed nothing. You're not entitled to anything. Essentially, you, just like everyone else, was given a canvas and a blank page. If you want to do something, change something, make something of yourself, you have the tools. You've always had them. We all have. That's what makes success such a curious thing. Why is it that some people maintain that winning mentality? They expect greatness out of everything they do. And others have the opposite mentality. They see greatness as a far-off thing. Like something you see in the window of a store, something to just look at, to dream about, not realistic. Why? We all know the formula. Sacrifice and working hard enough at anything, it will get you results. You'll make progress. The problem is belief. People see greatness as something other than themselves. Something beyond them, beyond their capabilities. The thought is not entertained. Look, where you are now, where you have been, it has no impact on where you can go, on what can happen in the future. The possibility of something better is always, always there. Earlier today, I came across an interview with Will Smith. I'm listening to it and I almost jumped up and down. This guy describes success better than anyone I've ever heard. Two things, very simple. One, he believed in himself. As a kid, he always knew that where he was temporary. It did not define him. It was part of a journey to something better. Two, he outworked everyone around him. He was never the most talented or gifted, but he molded the talent he did have into skill, into the mastery of an art. And now he's reaping the benefit. He wasn't born into multi-million-dollar movie contracts. He was born with potential, and so were you. There's a great quote that getting what you want is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. When you combine belief with the persistent action to back it up, those two things will take you anywhere in the world. That's why the words "I can't" are so toxic, so debilitating. Next time that comes to mind, ask yourself, why? Not figuratively or hypothetically, literally ask yourself why you can't do what you want to do. If you want to win, you need to see yourself as a winner. You need to associate with winning. No champion ever got there accidentally. They knew they belonged with the best. So before another minute goes by, ask yourself whether you do. Because that simple acknowledgement opens the door to infinite possibilities. The most important story in our lives is the story untold, where there are no flaws, there are no setbacks, just an open road. The story untold is where you step away from the world behind your eyes and you embrace the one that's in front of them. Right, this story is different. You can't touch it, you can't grasp it, but you can feel it. It's not our past self, right? It's not that fiction that we become tied to and mistakenly identify with. It's something different. It's anything different. It's a blank page, it's a new chapter. It's an opportunity to bring to life all those times we said, "I wish"? Well, my friend, here is a pen and a page, and guess what? Everything that happened before right now might as well evaporate into thin air, because line by line, you can rewrite reality. You are not yesterday's problems. You are certainly not yesterday's results. You are right now. See, because more destructive, more disheartening than having to ascend the tallest mountain on the planet is the simple way that we categorize ourselves, that we define ourselves by our past. We're stuck in chapter 5, where the hero isn't even aware that he or she is a hero, where the villain hasn't been conquered, and the odds, man, they don't look great. Why identify with that? Why stop there? Look, no good story is without conflict. No great empire appears without struggle. But that's not a defining characteristic. It's just par for the course. And here you are, with the chance to rewrite whatever ending you want, to tell whatever story you want to tell. There is just no greater freedom. And when you step back, when you really assess, you realize that life is a collection of stories, of events that unfolded as we allowed them to, and told through our experiences and perspectives. The only truths that exist are the ones we believe. The only facts out there are the ones we've agreed to accept. We are merely authors, writers, and creators. If you're not happy with your storyline, change it. That's the beauty of life. You can make yourself the hero minute by minute, word by word. The underdog, the long shot, that changed common perception, that grabbed reality and shook it. Be the reason that fiction becomes fact. Write something worth remembering. I've spent the last year incredibly focused, building, creating. In fact, I've spent my whole life building, putting countless hours into something that I believe wholeheartedly will allow me to leave this place a little better than I found it. And I'm not unique in this way, right? We all have ambitions. We all work toward positive change in our lives. It's essential. But like everything in our world, there is more there than meets the eye. Last weekend I decided to head over to the beach. Summer's turned to fall. I wanted to get one last trip in, kind of bring closure to an amazing summer. And I was walking around and came across a sandcastle, standing in beautiful detail, seemingly untouched by human hands after being completed, yet slowly deteriorating from the elements. And seeing this was a little disconcerting, right? You have this natural tendency to want to preserve it and the effort that went into building it. But the more and more I thought about it, the more it occurred to me that the true beauty of it all is not in the sandcastle, Not in the towers sculpted to perfection or the meticulously carved out doors, windows, and bridges. They are only symbolic. We don't live for the final product. We live for the journey, the adventure, the joy of the process, tackling the unknown and turning it into something of beauty. That's why we get up every day. That's why landscapes, oceans, and skylines run away with our imagination. They're representative of what makes us feel alive. Sometimes it becomes extremely easy to forget that. The degree, the championship, the executive position, these things we seek, they are validation, right? But they are not life. What you do every day is life. How you turn ordinary things into extraordinary things, cherish the time you spend. There is nothing of greater importance. Sandcastles will not stand forever. The tide, the wind, a million things will assist in bringing the sand back to its original form. Just like us, its time is finite. But the joy of creating such a masterpiece can never be lost. That's why we build. It's why we create. So imagine with me that it's a fall morning years from now. Right, the sun is shining through your window, you get out of bed just like it's any other day. Except this particular day would be different. It would be your last day on earth. So you'd walk outside and begin reflecting on life from day one to where you are now. And in that moment, my question to you is, what would you value most looking back? I've always been intrigued by this question. Even though it's a tough one, I like it because it's a simple reminder of what's important. It brings much needed perspective. So what would that moment look like? Your last day, when you get to look back on everything you've done, right? The legacy you've made. You most likely won't focus on how tough the climbs were. You probably won't remember the battles and the struggles. What you'll remember are the moments of victory, the times when you were able to do something significant to contribute to the world, to help and be near those who mean the most to you. What we learn as we get older, as we progress through life, is that failures dissolve, right? They fade away. They provide us with the wisdom that we so desperately need, and then they disappear into the universe. It's the other piece that needs our attention. That quote we've heard a million times about regretting the things that we don't do more than the things we do. And how fear constantly gets in the way of our potential. So imagine, right, as you continue this walk outside, that you think about your dreams. The things that fear kept you from becoming. Because on your last day alive, in the face of death, you'll probably realize that the worst possible scenario wasn't as scary as you thought. Study after study shows that the biggest regret of people with limited time left is living according to the expectations of others, not having lived a life that was true to themselves. We're fortunate enough to have that wisdom now. Why would we not act on it? Don't let yourself be the person who looks back and dreams about what if. Do your dreaming in the present. We're all writing our stories. Make yours a thriller. Make it a bestseller. Live now. Let that fear fade away, because in a universe where your existence essentially equates to a drop of rain in a thunderstorm, what the hell is there to be afraid of? Be the type of person who finishes this walk outside with a smile, content with the journey, all the turns, the adventures, the small failures that shaped who you are, the successes that lifted you up. As the old saying goes, everyone dies, but you truly live.